Harper Bliss, author of lesbian fiction.
And I'm her Mrs.
Thank you for listening to our podcast where we try to talk about our journey in writing and publishing.
But we usually get sidetracked by television or our cat.
Meow.
Welcome to Harper Bliss and her Mrs. Hello everyone, this is episode 2 of the relaunched
Harper Bliss
and her Mrs. And we're recording this on April 7th, 2018. Oh, no. Yes, and this is quite a bit of a significant date. Why?
Because it's 2 months away from my 40th birthday.
Yes.
I've been working on my midlife crisis.
Yes, maybe more about that later. So we hope you enjoyed our first episode.
Yes, I think we're still a bit rusty, but we'll get into it.
Yes, I apologise if we seem a little bit foggy and puffy this morning, but we have some friends from Hong Kong who are visiting us this weekend, and we were reunited yesterday evening, and let's say a few bottles of wine were consumed.
They're more like our drinking buddies.
Well, they're very good friends who are also very good drinking buddies, but yes, so apologies for the slightly hungover state of us. So, let's start with a recap
I don't
of the
look
week.
hungover.
Well, no. Will you start with your recap of your week?
Yes, it was a bit of a strange week because of the bank holiday, and I don't know, I don't like bank holidays. I think they should not be there anymore. Because, I love my job and I don't want to take time off from my job.
Yes, well, I think probably a lot of our viewers might disagree with you on that.
Yeah, well, no, I agree. I mean, I used to love bank holidays, of course, when I was still a civil servant. But, and we have so many, especially when you're a civil servant, you get like some extra. But now I don't want them anymore. But actually, that's great for me, right?
Well, usually, often we do work on public holidays.
Yeah.
Whether sometimes we don't even, I know in Hong Kong, sometimes we didn't even know it was a public holiday until we kept seeing pictures of people on Facebook.
Hong Kong is crazy.
Off. Yeah, because
they have so many.
There's a lot of public holidays.
But they don't, people in Hong Kong usually don't get that much time off, right?
No,
so they need these public holidays.
So there was Easter Monday, that was that.
We had some people over for dinner.
Yes.
So then I had a hangover again, and then I was on this Skype call with Claire talking about our book, and then I was completely useless in the call, and this is making me look so bad. But I think it's all down to my midlife crisis.
Yes, I think. Well, actually, no. Anyway, moving on.
So, Claire and I finished the first draft of our co-written book. But I have to say, I did have some end of book fear, and I talked about this with Claire. She didn't know what it was, and it was like, what? I have this with every book. Like the last couple of chapters, I completely cramp up, and then, my chapters turn out really bad. I'm not really good at ending a book. So then you have to rewrite it for me.
Yeah, but this one was not that bad.
Well, no, because, it was shared chapters, so her chapter is good, but mine needs a little bit of work. But, the first draft is done, and it went so well, because, when we were planning this, Claire said, yeah, I think we can do this in 3 weeks, and I said, I think not, but then we were able to do it in 3 weeks, so, and we didn't have any major dramas or anything, so...
Well, not between you two.
Well,
I won't comment on the dramas we had here.
Well, I had some drama before because I was nervous, but once we got going, I think I was fine.
Yes.
And then also this week I did a workout.
3 days ago, and she's still walking as if she's
I'm so
90
sore.
years old.
I'm 2 months away from 40. I chose.
Yes.
So also... about my midlife crisis, I think, it's not because I'm turning 40 in 2 months. I am, but, that's okay. But what I have noticed is that a lot of people that we know who are in the same age group, let's say between, 37 and 45, I see a lot of crises going on.
No, it's true.
I see people breaking up. I see people having trouble in their relationship. I see
people wanting to buy Porsches.
burnouts, all of that. So, I always think it's just me, but actually it's very common. I think the only thing not common in all of this is you. Because you never have a crisis.
Well, thank you for calling me not common. I mean, I do not want to be common.
So, yeah. Anyway.
It's not too bad yet, the midlife crisis. I mean, it might get worse. I hope not.
Well, I'm not going to want a Porsche, I'll tell you that.
Yes, but who knows? You might want something else. I'll keep you posted on the state of the midlife crisis.
Yeah.
I apologize if there's some noise now, but our cat Dolly has decided this is a good time to do her nails in a scratching pole, so maybe she'll make an appearance later on.
I think she's going to go crazy soon.
Yes.
She has that look about her.
So,
But it's Catterday, so...
Yes. Catterday means she's getting a bit of catnip.
Yeah.
Anything else in your week?
Well, I revealed the cover for Pink Bean 8. I will reveal the blurb soon, so, it's coming out in 3 weeks.
Yes, there's still a lot to do about it.
Yeah, so well, yes, it's true. But I did get the book back from the editor, so, we can start soon.
Yes. So that should be out in a few weeks.
So have you done anything this week?
Well, I did. Yes, I have done some stuff. I actually started thinking and working a bit on the cover for the co-write with Clare, which is proving to be quite challenging because even though you write in the same genre, you have very different styles of covers, and this book doesn't necessarily have to be in the same style, but I do want to try and be a bit true to you both, so that your readers, your respective readers, will recognize it as one of your books.
Yeah, but I think my covers are, when you look at all of them, they're quite diverse.
Yes, but no, what I mean is that your covers are usually they're a photo that's been, or a couple of photos that have been assembled, and Claire has mostly, I think, apart from one book, all of her covers are illustrated.
Yes.
They're illustrations, and so yeah, we have to. These are things that we still need to discuss.
I think you should just base it on the book, not so much on us, on our style.
Yes, but maybe that's where I've been going wrong. We'll see. Anyway, I've started working on that, and
you've been getting many helpful notes.
Yes.
from more than one person. It's a bit stressful, right?
Yes, but it's okay. We'll get there. It's fun. It's fun because, as I mentioned, I think last week I did this cover design course recently, and this is allowing me to kind of use the skills that I discovered in this course. So that's quite fun. And then, a lot of boring work stuff happened as well that I will not mention here because our viewers do not want, and listeners do not want
boring?
to. Yes. But I did catch up with an ex-colleague of mine this week. We went by her house and chatted for an hour or so, which was fun because it'd been a while since I'd seen her. And we got talking to our previous workplace because she doesn't work there anymore either. And it really made me realize how lucky I am to be doing this and to be working for myself, because I don't think I could go back to a situation where I'd be, in a corporate environment or employed by someone else. So that was a realization. That was good.
I'm sorry, I'm very distracted by the cat. She's going crazy.
Yes, I think she's starting to act up. She thinks it's almost her lunchtime, but it's still a bit early.
She's always 1 hour before is her actual feeding time. That's always when she starts going nuts.
She's actually 2 hours early today. Especially.
No, it's what?
It's 10:30.
Oh yeah, she's 2 hours early.
Anyway, I think that's. Those were the two most interesting things in my week. I don't think I have anything else to talk about.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next subject in our newly structured podcast.
Yes. So that's television and movies, and especially this one lesbian movie that we watched, which is called...
Sorry, I just swore.
Yes, you have to put the explicit logo next to this podcast, I think. So the movie was
Below Her Mouth. I saw it. It was recommended to us on Netflix many times. So I said, okay, let's watch this movie, because I'm always a bit apprehensive about the lesbian movies. But I don't know, maybe the problem is me and maybe I want too much, but there was no story. And then there was like 4 scissoring scenes. I could not believe it. I said, are we still doing this? This is 2018. Come on.
Well, maybe the director, likes scissoring.
But scissoring, I mean, I think it is well established that scissoring is not a thing.
Well, I think you should not generalize for everyone.
Yeah, no, it's true, because we were talking about this with, another couple of lesbians, and one of them said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch, because she enjoyed it so much.
She's watched it 4 times.
One of them, they watched it 4 times. And I said, how can you watch it 4 times? How can you stand all the scissoring? And then she said, well, maybe your definition of scissoring is different than mine. And I should tell you, at which point of the movie I think the scissoring begins. And then you can compare it to, where it begins for you.
Time it, at 5 minutes and 43 seconds is when the scissoring starts for me.
But I don't want to watch the movie again. I mean, it was definitely not the worst I've seen, but
No.
it was such a missed opportunity. Again, that's what bugs me.
But yeah.
Don't we want a story? Plus, I think it's, again, a misrepresentation of female sexuality on television.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
Which we have established yesterday is a big problem in the world.
Oh yes, so to get back to our many bottles of wine that we drank, as a consequence, we were talking about the state of the world, and well, your conclusion was that all the problems are down to the misrepresentation of the female orgasm in popular culture.
Well, I mean, in my head, my theory is sound, but I did not explain it well. I think maybe I should write it down.
Maybe.
And then
also, the audience was maybe not that receptive to
No.
it, as there was a couple of gay men.
They don't care about the
Yeah.
female orgasm anyway and how it's represented.
Yes. So I think now we can swiftly move on to our weekly topic.
Yes. Yes, I think we should. I think we'll have to wrap it up quickly.
Yes.
Well, no, the weekly topic is that in February, actually, because I made notes because we were on hiatus, I was reminded on Facebook that I had a book launch party for my very first book in 2012 when we were in Hong Kong. This was my very first book, was not a Harper Bliss book, but I mean, it reminded me that I've been doing this for 6 years.
Yes.
Well, and then actually by extension, so have you, because you've been. Not officially, but you've been working with me and doing this since I started. And this was February 2012, and now we are, April 2018.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
A long time.
I know. So that's why I thought maybe we could reflect on our 6 years in this business.
Yes. Well, so...
She just jumped. I don't know if
you can see it, but she's sitting behind us on the
cat.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of things have changed, I think, since you started 6 years ago.
Well, so much has changed.
Yes.
Well, I think maybe the biggest thing that has changed is that this has turned into a full-time job for 2 people.
Yes, whereas it started as a hobby to keep you occupied, you on your own.
Some occupational therapy for me.
Yes, as a
tie
wife.
A tie, as we say in Hong Kong.
Yes. So, yeah, no, and we've managed to grow it into a business that sustains us both, which I think is pretty amazing.
It is, but yeah, this goes back to what I said just at the beginning, that a public holiday. I don't want a public holiday. I just want to work because I love what I do.
Yeah.
So
we've managed to turn it into a pretty streamlined machine, as you say.
The book machine.
The book machine.
The book machine must keep on. The book factory, actually, I was calling it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so much has changed. I mean, when I started, I would never have dreamed that I would co-write.
Yes.
And now I'm already, planning other co-writes. And my next one will be with...
I don't know if we can reveal this. We're going to keep this a secret.
Yes, that's right.
So we are not revealing who your next co-write is with. Anyway, watch this space for more news on a possible next co-write.
I'm sorry. Okay, but I think one thing that has not changed is that most of our friends and family still have no clue what we do.
Yes.
Well, not maybe they have a clue, but it's very vague.
Yes, they have no idea about everything that it entails. I mean, they know about the writing, the books and stuff, but everything that comes with that They don't have a real clue about it.
But I think it's normal because, when I think about what, my friends and family do in their job, it's not as if I have a very clear idea of what they do.
I know, because yesterday I was asked what my sister does exactly, and I couldn't explain it actually very well either. So, yeah. But I think what's changed a lot now is that we are thinking much more long term and taking a global view, a yearly view instead of a monthly view.
Oh, no, a 5-yearly view, I would say.
Yes, but I mean, also a yearly, on our income, for instance, a yearly view rather than a monthly view.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
in the beginning, I remember, every morning, first thing I did was go on Amazon and count up. Like, I had to manually count up back in the day because that's how the Amazon dashboard worked, to see how many books I sold. I mean, I definitely don't do that anymore now.
No. I mean, we do keep an eye on it.
Well,
now that we have our own dashboard that we can control,
But we don't even. I mean, books sold. That is not something that I count. I mean, I count the money.
Yeah,
that's That's a number that means so much more to me than the number of books sold. Because the other day I got asked, "So how many books have you sold?" I have no idea.
I know. I mean, it is I think it would be interesting to have an idea because it is something that people ask about, and that's outside people. They don't ask how much money have you made.
No, that's true.
They ask how many books have you sold.
But
and it would
it's
be
difficult
interesting to have an answer. But it's difficult with Kindle Unlimited. You never know exactly how many books people have borrowed.
You need to do a calculation and an estimate.
But it's something that I would like to do just to have an idea, because I mean, I think if we added it up and if you told people the number of books that you've sold, the actual figure, I think a lot of people would be quite impressed and taken
Maybe I
aback.
can finally impress my mother.
Yes.
No,
that would be the day.
That's not gonna happen anytime soon. Okay, let's not go in that direction.
No. So, but things, I mean, and who would have thought 6 years ago that now you would have how many audiobooks out, for instance, a few books that have been, contracted for translations, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's 6 years ago.
I know.
It was unthinkable.
No, I heard this thing because I listened to Jonah Penn podcast this week. I did a bit of a catch-up. Her podcast is amazing. If you are a writer, you should really listen to it.
thecreativepenn.com, Penn with 2 N's.
And this guy said that, every book you put out there, I mean, people tend to focus on launch, and week and, how many books it sells, how many copies it sells and stuff. But what he said was, you should see it differently. Every book is you put a little bit something of yourself out there in the world, and it's gonna be there, forever. Maybe is a big word, but you don't know what this book is gonna do for you in the future. Like The Road to You. When I put it out, I had no idea someone would want to translate it into French, for instance.
And now it is being translated.
Or that it would turn into an audiobook, because things change so much, right? In this business, and new opportunities are there all the time, and. Yeah, so this was my example.
Yes, so I think maybe we should start wrapping it up.
Yes, but I did have one more profound thing to say.
Okay, go ahead, dear. I would never stop you from saying a profound thing.
Well, I mean, there's marketing and there's thinking long term and all of that, but one thing always remains the same, right? And because this is what our business is founded on, it's writing.
Yes. And
I happen to love writing.
Thank goodness for that.
Yes, even though sometimes I curse it, but it all. I mean, this is such a. I can tie up all the loose ends in the podcast. I think. I mean, I say writing, but what it comes down to is story. And I think in the movie Below Her Mouth, I really miss the story. Tell us a story. Don't just have two people scissoring a little bit, and then. I mean, I'm gonna spoil the movie for you, but don't have the boyfriend of one walk in on them, and then it was like that was. Almost the end of the movie. Then there was a short scene, like they meet for coffee, and that was it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the most satisfying movie, but
there was no transition.
Anyway, we understand you didn't enjoy that movie that much. But
I mean, I did. What I did like was, I mean, and this is my personal theory, is that the one actress, but I forget the name, right? But the Swedish one, I think.
The blonde one.
The blonde one. I think the director met this actress and said, okay, this woman is so hot, I need to make a soft porn movie with her. which then she did. I thought the casting was really good because, I mean, often in all the in most, well, I can't say mainstream, but in most lesbian movies, actresses don't look like that.
Yeah, no, she was quite well cast.
Yeah, like tomboy. Well, she was blonde Shane, really.
Yes, Shane from
And she was she's a roofer. So I did like that a lot. That's the movie's only redeeming quality.
Okay, shall we wrap it up now?
Yes.
I think we've talked enough about below her mouth. So
I think that title is good though, because it really did all happen below their mouths.
Okay, so I think that's it for this week. If you want to get in touch with us, if you have any questions, or if you want us to talk about a specific topic, we have an email address that you can reach us on, and that is Harper Bliss and Her Mrs @gmail.com.
If you've seen an excellent lesbian movie, let me know.
Yes, then maybe we can watch it and we can discuss it at length like we did for this one.
Okay.
Okay, that's it for this week then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Harper Bliss and Her Mrs.
You can find all the episodes and show notes at harperblissandhermrs.com.
We also have a favor to ask.
If you could rate and review the podcast wherever you listen to it, that would help other people find us.
Thank you.
Chicky, chicky.